Good morning, miss. Alright, I see you have submitted your cover letter along with your CV, and I see they do look promising. I'm looking forward to our interview today. Now, shall we start with a few questions? What made you apply for this position?
I am confident that I can become a songwriter who helps singers under a company to be recognized not only by their good voices but also with their great songs. I will make the songs I wrote take your singers to the top of the charts.
How would you describe yourself as a person?
I am a person who doesn't procrastinate, always finishes what I have started, can work well in teams, always looking for new challenges to hone my skills, easy to adjust to in a new place, and always dedicated to the policies I have choose.
Why did you leave your last job?
Because I don't feel that I had developed in the company where I worked before. Through your company that continues to advance in the music industry, I'm sure that I will further develop and apply my creative results better.
When you have been told or discovered for yourself a problem in your job performance, what have you typically done? Can you give us an example?
For example, at the previous company, I was faced with the company's disappointment because the public complained about the song that was released because it was still in a ballad them like the previous songs. I found that there was a misunderstanding of my view of the singer's genre. So for the next work, I tried to better analyze the public market. As a result, I saw great progress of the singer's reputation with the songs I composed, the result of my problem solving.
What special aspects of your education or training?
As a literature graduate, I was trained to develop and explore language as the ideas in my head needed to be born in the form of language. My previous education helps me develop my potential to produce songs in various genres.
What is your long-term employment or career objectives?
My goal is to further develop myself in my career as a songwriter and continue to utilize my ideas in the development of the company. Because by continuing to channel my creativity in the right fields, I will continue to climb to a higher level in personal development.
What was your most difficult decision in the last 6 months? What made it difficult?
I had experienced depression, which was quite difficult for me to live my life until finally I started holding my guitar and voicing everything that was going on in my head in the form of a song. Since then, whenever I feel under pressure, I immediately write it down as a song. This way has changed the way I express my feelings from negative to positive. I have the satisfaction of producing songs based on my emotions and feel that through this I can react my creativity as freely as possible while making writing songs as a meditation against any stress that I have.
Have you made any individual presentations recently? How did you prepare?
Yes, I have. I made presentations on some of the works I have made through online media to introduce my songs in more depth and detail and to reveal the story behind each of the songs I have made. My preparation is by determining the topic of the presentation so that my presentation doesn't fall outside the predetermined topic, determine the duration of the presentation, make a list of subtopics so that the presentation runs in an organized manner, and make a picture of who is watching my presentation so that I can be more careful in using vocabulary and behave.
What do you think about the continued changes in company operating policies and procedures?
In my opinion, the policies and procedures changes that have been established by the company are the right decision because by giving the workers the right to use the studio space without limitation of time, it will increase the intensity of creativity for the workers in the company.
Please describe your most significant success and failure in the last 2 years.
My failure in these 2 years was the moment when I let the depression that was then pressuring me so hard overpower my desire to move and write it as a song. My success is when my spirit of work comes back to life and overcomes that depression, and continues to occupy the pinnacle of my days so that I don't stop creating new works. Hello, welcome to the interview session. My name is Aisyah and I am the interviewer in this session. I have seen your CV and based on the application you submitted, I got some points that you are suitable for our company standard. So let me start the interview by giving you the first question. Briefly, would you summarize your work history and education for us?
I am graduated from the University of Pamulang, majoring in English Letters Department. Previously, I've worked as a translation intern in a book publisher company for 2 years. There, I translated and proofread several documents as well as a training specialized for translating.
Can you describe for me one or two of your most important accomplishments?
One of the most important accomplishments for me was when I managed to train the new employees of my previous workplace the art of translation. I never used to teach someone before, so it was my first time, and I can say I am pretty proud of it.
In your previous job, what kind of pressure did you encounter?
One pressure I experienced from my previous workplace was when my boss asked me to proofread a long passages of documents in such a short deadline. It was pretty difficult, but I tried to do my best by calming myself down and continue working from there.
What special aspects of your education or training have prepared you for this job?
Personally, I think my education contributes to my knowledge about translation methods and etc. The basics helped me so much when I first worked in my previous job. As for my previous job, it helped me getting more experience in translating and also working with other people.
How does this job fit in with your overall career goals?
Well, since I'm already familiar with the work of translation, I think this job will be easy for me. I've also done some research on your company. Your company has worked with several countries, and I see that your translators, editors, and other employees also receive numerous remarkable recognitions on several aspects, and I aspire to be one of them someday. And I think the best way to do that is by working in this company.
What things frustrate you the most? How do you usually cope with them?
Well, I don't like it when there's a distraction when I'm working, especially when my coworkers are being loud. Usually, I avoid that by working somewhere else or putting on earphones whenever possible or whenever it is permitted.
In your opinion, how would you define doing a good job? On what basis was your definition determined?
Well, in my opinion, I think it's when I have a satisfaction with what I'm working on and when the result is just as I hoped. Usually, I would feel like that when I feel like I'm doing something just as it is described on the policies or the regulations. Part of this is because I would feel better because I'm working under a institution and I can have some reassurance for myself since I do just what I was told.
Would you rather write a report or give a verbal report? Why?
I'd prefer writing a report. It's because when I write, I can take up my time to think about what should I be writing next. Unlike the spontaneous verbal report, where you have to, you can't think of anything when you're talking, you just keep talking and talking. And there are some possibilities that you will be forgetting what you actually want to address since there are so many things you want to discuss.
What has been the highest pressure situation you have been under in recent years? How did you cope with it?
As I've mentioned before, It was when my previous boss asked me to proofread several documents in such a short amount of time. They were long passages, and I have to submit my review in about 3 days, if I am not mistaken. Well, it was pretty hectic, but I managed to calm myself down and think about what should I do next. Eventually, I managed to build a schedule just to review and do the proofreading so my other works wouldn't be neglected. Thankfully, I managed to finish it.
Describe your most significant success and failure in 2 years.
Well, I'd like to begin with my failure first. It was when I was asked to do a verbal translation between English speaker and Japanese speaker in an event one day. Since the latter was speaking too fast, I had trouble translating what he meant. So there was quite a slight miscommunication in that event. It was pretty embarrassing, but from there I learned how to be a better verbal translator. As for my success, as I've told you before, again, it was when I first trained my new employees, I mean, my old workplace new employees in the art of translation, the method, the procedures, the regulations, and etc. It was my first time, and of course, I had difficulties, but thankfully, my seniors were more than willing to aid me during that teaching session. And thankfully, I managed to complete it with such a good note. I wouldn't do such a great job if it weren't for them.
Hello everyone. Today I'd like to start the discussion via online. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Aisyah Andina Sekar Lestari, or you can call me Nina. Since this is a discussion, I'm accompanied by Putri, my partner, who will also participate in this discussion. Please introduce yourself, Putri.
Hello and good day, everyone. Please let me introduce myself. My name is Putri Rohaini, and it is such a great honor for me to be a part of this discussion. I'm looking forward to our cooperation today, Nina.
How are you doing? Are you used to adjusting to the new normal system?
Well, I'm good. It's been quite a while since the pandemic began. Everyone now does their work from home. Also, school and colleges are no longer done face to face, but via online learning instead. Even using masks and maintaining cleanliness is a top priority now.
Yes, definitely. The situation during the past year has been quite tough and really tests our mentality. Not everyone can immediately adapt to this strange situation. Some of them take a long time to adjust. What do you think was most affected by the situation?
Well, in my opinion, the most affected by this pandemic situation is the business world. Many companies have laid off their employees in order to minimize their expenses. Besides, many startup companies have also fallen as a result of this unexpected changing situation. So people are try to find other ways and other businesses that may sustain their needs. Well, do you think the world of business will continue to fall like this?
I don't quite agree there. This problem is related to the topic of discussion that will be discussed this time, which is how to increase revenue in business. Well, the thing is, everyone right now is racking their brains on how to be able to sustain their business in this kind of situation. They began to develop a better business strategy.
Could you be more specific about what business strategies that could make a profit in this kind of situation?
In my opinion, the strategy that can increase the most profitable business income is by offering discounts on your products and providing complimentary bonuses in several selected products. This is very easy to attract customer attention.
Hmm, yes. Perhaps, but I think this kind of strategy is no longer guaranteed to generate profits. If you do not formulate the basis of this strategy properly, you may end up losing money because the complementary that should be used as a product to be sold is simply forfeited as a bonus.
Ah, I see. That makes sense. It is true that our country's overall financial stability is really low right now. Relying on discounted products and lower prices would not be enough. It will be too much of risk to take. What about you then, Putri? What kind of strategy do you think would be more appropriate for this issue?
Well, this situation has been rough for us, especially in terms of physical contacts and all. We are prohibited to get too close to each other, and we cannot go out as much as we wanted to as we please anymore. However, the world always revolves, and so does the technology. We would be expected to keep up with the time in order for us to survive the situation we're in. And with that in mind, I think one of the best possible strategies for this is by using the power of social medias.
You mean by advertising our products?
Yes, that is correct. Through the internet and social medias, for example, Instagram, email, or even websites, we do not have to worry about getting in direct contact with our customers. We can still also have a proper communication with them. Not only that, it is possible that we can gain new customers while we're at it.
I think it's a good idea. Certainly, there would be a lot of benefits to gain from that strategy, since it is a common method to use nowadays. Of course, in order for that to work, we have to pay attention to certain prerequisites as well.
You mentioned something about certain prerequisites just now. What do you mean by that?
I was saying that we need to determine the basis of this strategy so we can focus on one thing and then the other, just like what you said earlier. For example, setting our revenue goals to some extent during the early period of our business by limiting it to any nominal you desire. When that goal is achieved, we can enhance that goal or focus on the other goals that will help develop our business even further.
What about the prices then? Personally, do you think keeping the products in low prices would be a good idea, especially with the low financial states and all that?
No, I don't think so. I would rather suggest to raise the prices regularly. A sudden rise in prices would make customers go away, and maintaining a low price for a long time would be bad for our business as well. By raising it regularly, we will have an ample time to develop our business little by little along the way.
Hmm, yes, you have a good point there. I think that would be the best option for us to take for the moment until the situation calms down. It's been a chaos these days, really.
Yes, I hope the situation will end soon. I am sure every one of us here would love returning to our previous daily lives once again.
Of course, and I hope it does.
And that concludes our discussion for today. We would like to say thank you for everyone here who have participated in this discussion. We do hope that everyone here would gain a new knowledge as well as the other benefits from our discussion.
We will also hold a Q&A session right after the discussion ends, so please stay tuned and prepare your questions for us if you have any. Thank you for your attention. Please stay healthy and we will see you next time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.